So we have it. Another video for the day before. I want this game to be real as much as the next person. And that's what this video is about. This game needs to be real. And there's like multiple reasons that I'm saying it needs to be real. And I know that there's a lot of sketchy stuff. Like, I'm incredibly skeptical about this game. I strongly believe it's not going to release on March 1st. So I'm not changing my tune or anything like that. I still don't believe it's coming out. But this game needs to be real because if you think about it, this game graphically looks amazing. The idea behind it and the huge open world, all different areas and stuff to explore. You've got vehicles, you've got different weapons, you've got these camps that you can go to, or supposedly. If you look at the interior for the mall and there's other interiors and stuff they've shown off, this game looks brilliant. It's an MMO survival open world game. Or that's what they've shown us, because there isn't actually a game at the moment. We are having to wait until March 1st to find out if it's a real game, unless obviously there's a delay or something beforehand. But you think of how many hours players are going to be able to sink into it if it is real. What we've seen in the gameplay, or the quote-unquote gameplay if you want to call it that, we've seen the interior of a mall, we've seen other interiors, we've seen a city landscape which looks similar to something like The Division. I mean, it's like based in New York or whatever. We've seen farmland, we've seen a gas station, and just before that gas station you've got this like dodgy sort of lake area with horrible muddy terrain where you're driving through. You've got all these different mechanics like the looting, you've got like PvP and PvE, you've got repairs you can do to your vehicles. There's so much stuff they've shown off in the like little snippets of gameplay we've got to see. But if this does come out and it's an actual game, it's a real full game, then there's going to be so much more to it as well. And yeah, I've pointed out that a lot of the features of the game, a lot of the assets or whatever, they're incredibly similar to other ones. I've made a couple of different comparison videos. Even though that's the case, there's a reason developers use assets and ideas and they take inspiration from other titles. And that's because it works. The players like that stuff, so they use it in their own games, change it up a little bit, and that's how it works. But imagine, like, if this is going to release exactly how they are showing it off, and it does release on March 1st. The anticipation they've had built up for this game is the second most wishlisted game on the whole of Steam. The only game that has more wishlists is Hogwarts Legacy. This game is being built by a development company that's got a very small history. It is a dodgy one, don't get me wrong, but they don't have a big history. They're not a massive company that's been working on games for decades. They don't have huge amounts of budgets and funding and things like that. I don't know too much about the publisher, but in terms of the developers, they're not that big of a company. And yes, most of the stuff they've done is shady. They've promoted their own products to the moon and back. They haven't shown gameplay or released their pre-launch beta, and we're less than 2 months away from release. I still, as I've said the whole way through, and I will continue to say until we find out more, I do still believe that this game, like, when I say it, I've said it multiple times, it's a fake game. When I say it's a fake game, I don't necessarily mean that the game doesn't exist whatsoever. If there is a release for it, when it does release, it's not going to be anything like what they've shown us. I don't know how it's happened, but the transition and the upgrade from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5 just made the latest gameplay trailers look worse than what they were before. But just think, if this is a real game based on what they've shown us, there is going to be lots and lots of stuff that players can do. I just like the idea of the exploration alone. The fact that there's so many different settings and stuff that they've shown us, and I'm hoping there's more buildings than just the one in the farmland area. They're obviously assuming the game's real and is going to release as they've shown, because that area just looked like a load of fields just surrounding this one building that looks as though it's probably not going to have a lot of loot in it. And then you've just got this like bunker that leads to this underground area. I don't know if the underground area is going to be like a dungeon of some sort, but it's PvE and PvP, so there's going to be zombies or whatever you want to call them. You're in this post-apocalyptic world, and there's also PvP, so players can come along and just ruin your day whenever they want. I'm hoping this game does release on March 1st. I'm hoping it's at least quite close to what they've shown us. And ultimately, I hope that whatever they do release, regardless of how close it is to what we've seen, I'm hoping that it's a fun game for players to enjoy. They've done a lot of shady stuff, and they've said a lot of dodgy things that don't make sense, and they've shown us stuff that just looks as though the whole game's based on inspiration from other titles, but they do still have time to show us gameplay, get the game released, and all that sort of stuff. March 1st isn't too long away, but they still have a little under 2 months to get some stuff sorted and show us. However, we are going to have to wait and see what happens. My fingers are crossed that this is a real game, a fun game for players to enjoy, especially because of the amount of hype it's built. Second most wishlisted game. That's not easy to achieve. Big titles sometimes don't even achieve that. But we are going to leave that video there. If I can think of any other topics to talk about within this game, if there's any more information, I will cover it on the channel. And check out this video if you want to see other content on the channel. I will see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.